Oh, okay, you're evolving. Cool, I guess. Already got an evolution on the way. Where are we going? Oh, well, that's really disappointing. We actually had a cool form, and immediately you have evolved into disappointment. Now I understand how my parents feel. Oh, I didn't even see those behind the boxes. The copper or rose gold frying pan. And why would you go for black and gold and then black and like rose gold here? No, why would you do that? That is the worst decision. At least stick, if you're gonna have a crap aesthetic, at least stick with it. At least be consistent. Love it. What? The power of friendship. Like, oh my gosh. Why would you do that? This game is so dumb.
Everyone, thank you.
Now what? Like, are they just gone? Do they come back? Why would they come back? Like, that has not been explained at all. Oh god. Okay. Things everywhere. Don't know what I'm doing. Kaboomerang, help me. Please.
That's too easy.
Please tell me.
Oh, what to do?
Quit the game.
I love her.
All right. Have it your way then.
Please step on me. Wait, what?
It's so to hear this, but I think I can live with it.
And do we get the visual? Do we get the visual? Do we get the visual? And there it is. 1 minute. There it is. Yes. Yes. So, this is not me trying to stereotype. This is actually from Australia. My great aunt used to live in Australia, and so gave me this on one of her trips back. So on his chest, she has the word Australia with the flag embroidered on its chest because, I guess, animal cruelty. Do not ding dong bing bomb me now. No! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I was right there. I was 3 steps away. It should be in the kitchen. The Wi-Fi whales! Everything must change. Wi-Fi, the guardians of Wi-Fi must be put into place. Ooh, that don't look good. You look a little bit dead.
They'll kill my son.
He has a son. Are we the father?
Wait, your son?
Then that's our cue to leave. See you later, Vector and SBO. Give 'em heck! And if you need any meat chopped, say the word. I don't want any meat chopped by you ever, Vector. Please never chop any meat of mine.
I probably just have to delete some files, and then he'll be all set.
Oh, I love her. Oh, I love her. She's so cute.
It has our bus tickets in it, and
Oh no, I'm really torn because we need that bus ticket. Oh gosh, what do I do? I haven't got time. Oh, I'm gonna keep it.
No.
No.
Sorry.
what are we gonna do? We can't stay here.
Oh, I feel like such an awful human.
We have to find a safe place for Oliver.
I'm so sorry, honey. I don't know what happened. They were right here in my bag.
You're humans though, you'll be fine. I am nearly dead. Ah! I'm knocking everything off, I got too excited. Didn't break anything. It's fine. Yay! Yay! And like that, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. It is good to have you with us on this wonderful Saturday evening. I hope you're having a good day, good start to your weekend, all that good stuff. Today, we're just chatting. We're just hanging out here. Got some chill vibes. I think the music is playing in the background. Yeah, it started off as a quiet track. Oh, sorry. But yeah, we're just chatting today. We're going to be chatting through the Game Awards. I went a little bit hard on that intro, so my voice is still recovering, so I need to be careful. But it is getting better, so thank you for all the well wishes. Very much appreciated. But yeah, we're going to be chatting today about the Game Awards. We're going to be seeing what games are up for voting and give some thoughts on the games that are up for Game of the Year specifically. But we will probably dance around some of the other topics as well to see if there's any opinions we have there. Should be a fun, chill stream. Also, ignore the fact the door is open. It is we've been painting or glossing, I should say, today. So I've got to keep the door open in here because otherwise I'm gonna get high off the fumes and not be able to breathe properly. So you know, that's why that is. It's just kind of the way it is, and it means that there's no sound paneling off the door, so having the door open also means the sound travels back further, so we get less reverberation, all that sort of good stuff. So bear with us as we do this, but let us jump into chat and see who is with us today for this wonderful chat. Steffi, hello. Jeremy, Akira, Withered Flower, Zuzu Loves, Zekron, Alison, the Winged Leviathan, hello, hello, hello. Good to have you all. Ghostly, hi. Ghostly. Poison Heart, hello. Thanks so much for tuning in, friend. Mark, hello. Pikachu Go Kai, long time no see, Mark. It feels like it's been a while. Hope you're doing well, friend. AJ, hello. I finally caught one. I'm so happy that the emote looks so cute. Well, I'm very glad about it. I'm very glad that you guys like it. It's been great fun. No Eva Tom appearances then. Unlikely. Oh, I've still got a bit of the gloss on my neck. Yeah, there you go. There's proof. Proof that I've been painting today. I'm busy with work, so I'm happy to be here. Well, we are happy to have you, Mark. Thanks so much for tuning in, friend. It's great to have you. Let me just mess up my settings a bit because I am going to be probably sticking slightly quieter than usual just because still got a little bit of a cough going on and a little bit of a sore throat. It's gotten a lot better. I've not felt it, but I can imagine now I'm going to be talking for several hours. It's going to be tricky. Can you not hear the music? I can hear the music. There is music. It's just very quiet compared to normal. I can up it. I just didn't want it to because it's not reacting to my voice, so I didn't want it to be too quiet, but I can turn it up. Just let me know if it gets too much. Yes, and also, probably a good thing to mention. Let's welcome our new mods, everybody. Zekron and Ghostly Calamity have both agreed to become mods for the channel, for the Discord, and for the stream. So thank you guys so much. They have been great members of this community, and I'm looking forward to having them look after you lot a little bit more. It should be good, and it means that we finally got a couple more, or at least one more American on the mod team, which is always useful with time zones and things like that. So thank you guys so much. Let me move me a second. I mean, actually, I'm not going to because I will. Actually, no, I'll move me for now. But it's all going to change in a bit anyway because we'll move it all for when we go to screen sharing. But yes, so if you would like to go and chat with these wonderful people, please do join the Discord. There is a link in the description as well as the ability to subscribe and become a member. Today we have wonderful channel members with some wonderful emotes, which I'm sure people in the chat are showing off already. I've seen some Shadow Realms and I've seen some Wi-Fi whales already throwing themselves out in the chat. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful members. You can be a member today from as low as $1 a month. Spider-Man, there we go. Vibes. Also got to love the vibey Dapper Slowpoke. And good time zone, of course. So those wonderful emotes can be yours today for as little as $1 a month. Cool. Well, let me move you back over to this window and let's jump into what we've got going on today. So here we go. We have got, so what is this? So this is the website. So the Game Awards, the most prestigious game of the year event. Obviously there are lots of different games, many different game awards like throughout the years, and even this one evolved out of Spike TV Game Awards. But I think we all kind of recognize that this feels like the biggest one. There is the BAFTAs, do have a gaming award as well in the UK, which tends to be pretty big. So that's always a good one to aim for. But the Game Awards seem like the ones that are built for gamers by gamers. Like Jeff Keighley is a true gamer at heart. Absolutely fantastic character. And he was one of the producers and hosts for the Spike TV Awards, and he realized what a joke it became, and so wanted to like turn it into something that could be remembered. Because it's by votes. Akira, no, it is not. It is not by votes. So I've learnt this. It is a 90-10 split. 10% is audience vote. 90% is voted on by critics. So journalists. So they're the game. There's a group, I forget what they call themselves. But there's like a committee that is built out of the biggest names in gaming. Valve is on that committee. You've got like Hideo Kojima, people like that. So they select, and so you get this group of like the biggest names in gaming. They then handpick 100 gaming journalists, and 100 gaming journalists then vote for 90% of the vote. 10% is down to audience, because basically the one thing they're trying to avoid is they don't want a company to be able to buy your vote by offering like in-game rewards and things like that. So that's why the audience only gets 10%. So yeah, no, yeah, the audience vote only counts for 10%. Now, do I think Tears of the Kingdom has a good shot? Absolutely. Breath of the Wild won? Yeah, Breath of the Wild did win. And did incredibly well for itself. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Tears of the Kingdom does well. It's incredibly artistic, it's incredibly thorough, it's massive. Of these games, the fun fact, of Game of the Year games, I have only played one of them, which we are playing on the channel right now, which is Spider-Man 2. I have never played Resident Evil. Didn't get around to Mario or to Tears of the Kingdom yet. Anyway, I'd love to, but I just haven't got around to it in my personal time yet. Baldur's Gate, not really my thing, and Alan Wake 2, also not my thing particularly. So I think Baldur's Gate does have a chance. I don't think, like, Mario is... There's no reason for Mario to be that. I'll be perfectly honest. It's a very good game. From all the reviews I've seen and from all the footage I've watched, you know, it looks like an incredible game. It's not Game of the Year. There's no way. Mario gets recommended every now and again, like Mario Odyssey. Got brought up for Game of the Year. And it just... There was no way it was going to win. There was no way. The only one that I think could potentially win other than Tears of the Kingdom is Baldur's Gate. While it's not a super recognizable IP compared to Tears of the Kingdom or Spider-Man or even Alan Wake, or Resident Evil for that matter, it is so expansive and it's been such a huge part of the gaming conversation over the last, like, months. People have absolutely loved Baldur's Gate 3. So I could see it. It's also massive, which again seems to do well. It's like the Oscars, longer games seem to do well. So I could see that. So I could see that helping it quite a lot when it comes to the votes. I think it's also a very unique game and very interesting. Games like Baldur's Gate have won in the past. Dragon Age Inquisition comes to mind. I think that was actually the very first Game Awards back in 2014. So that wouldn't surprise me. So I whether I want to put my full weight behind it, I think Tears of the Kingdom probably has the best shot. Because Breath of the Wild did so well. But then again, you also go, well, Breath of the Wild did Breath of the Wild. You know, so Tears of the Kingdom is that with a few extra things. Is that enough to make it Game of the Year? Whereas Baldur's Gate feels entirely new. So I could see that being the case. It's a shame. Spider-Man, fantastic game. I love it. I just don't think it will do well at all. Although, thing to bear in mind is the amount of time it takes to vote. Or the amount of time you have to vote. Like, I guess releases and stuff like that. Like, Baldur's Gate. How many of the reviewers and journalists that are going to have been voting have played, like, all of Baldur's Gate 3? They are more likely to have played more of Tears of the Kingdom than Baldur's Gate. Which is why I guess things like Mario get there, because they're much shorter games, and so they are easier to get a fuller picture of, but they never seem to win. Because if your game's got a massive world with side quests and all these extra things, that seems to be what builds it. That seems to do really well. Which is where, like, things like Resident Evil, Alan Wake got big worlds, incredible horror games, but I just don't think the games themselves are big enough to warrant that kind of treatment, right? I think they're incredible feats of tech. Like, to be clear, all of these are fantastic games, and all of them have done incredibly well. But if I was to put my weight behind it, I would probably put my weight behind Tears of the Kingdom, I think. That or Baldur's Gate. I don't know, Tears of the Kingdom is kind of empty. It's kind of big, but it's also kind of empty. That's true, but wasn't Breath of the Wild quite empty? And I feel like it was praised for that because it felt realistic to the world of Zelda. So I don't know. Alan Wake seems like the most... Well, the thing about Alan Wake being nominated, it was nominated like the week before it released. Or it had just released and then the next day it was nominated, which was quite something. Which is going to be interesting for voting because it means that the voters don't have all that long to play Alan Wake. Yeah, it's kind of similar to Sonic Frontiers and empty. The difference is that Zelda's world feels like it deserves to be empty. Zelda's world and Link's world feel like it makes sense when they're empty. Like, that tracks. And they were the first to really do it in terms of Nintendo properties. The problem is they then decided, well, every game's now got to be like this, which is where Sonic Frontiers comes from. And that is weirdly empty and not in a great way. But Tears of the Kingdom made Breath of the Wild look like a tech demo. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I think it does deserve to be there. And I think it has a really good shot because Breath of the Wild... Like, again, it depends on the journalists, right? Because I think you're right. I think if Breath of the Wild... If Tears of the Kingdom was so much better than Breath of the Wild that it made Breath of the Wild look like a tech demo, it's a really, really high chance that it will do well. It's whether... those voters agree, right? I think Breath of the Wild got a lot of love to bring the world. Exactly. But and that's the thing. I think Nintendo took not Nintendo, but like a lot of games took the wrong inspiration from Tears of the Kingdom, thinking that the open world and the big empty world was what made it good and why people loved it, and that wasn't the reason. Sadly. But yeah. So it's going to be an interesting one. Like, this year has been stacked for games. Let's be honest. This has been a fantastic year for games. Like, look at these 6 games. Also interesting. So you only can typically have 5 for Game of the Year. Because it's all based on the vote. Like, so the jury all nominates the top 5 games they think should be Game of the Year for the nominee list. And then, so you get the 100, so each of them 5, so that's 500 votes, essentially. And in no particular order. So it's just put 5 games on that you think are going to be, should be nominated for Game of the Year. The only reason you have 6 or more is when they tie. So 2 of these games tied for at least one of the positions, which is an interesting thing to think about. Well, they tied in general because, as I say, there's no vote for, like, which one you think is the best, but tied in terms of numbers. So it's like you could find that both Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, for example, had the same amount of votes, and they were both the most amount of votes of any game. You might find that. You might find Mario Wonder tied with Alan Wake. But it's interesting. I don't know if we'll ever know, but I think it's fascinating. Who do I think tied? I can't imagine Mario Wonder got that many votes. Like, it got enough to get on the top 6, but I can't imagine it got that many. So I imagine it'll be like lower down spots probably that tied. I would probably guess it's Alan Wake and Mario. That would be my guess. Got no reason other than like it feels weird that they are. Yeah, I think it only makes sense to add a 6th at the bottom to a tied. Exactly. So I think that's part of the logic. But I also just think there is no reason. Those 2 games feel like the weird picks for me. Resident Evil came out a while ago and it was really well acclaimed. Spider-Man makes sense. Baldur's Gate makes sense. Tears of the Kingdom. And like the original Spider-Man was nominated. Resident Evil has been nominated multiple times over the years. So Alan Wake and Mario feel like the weird ones to me. But that would just be me. Tell others to vote. Only for 10%. Like, to be clear, 10% can make a difference. 10% absolutely can make a difference. But, like, rest assured, it is 10%. So, let's have a look through some of these other categories as well. Because I'm intrigued what other games. Best game direction. Same 4 games. This is the thing, right? It'll be interesting to see which games pick up awards like this. Because this kind of award is vastly different. Vastly different. Like, Game of the Year is like, what's the all-around package? Who has the full package? What happens if I click it? No, it just allows me to vote. But yeah, if you think about all like whole round package choice, this is just direction. Well, that's an awful highlighting system. Guys, fix your website. That is an awful selection system. So game direction, that's gonna, award for outstanding creative vision and innovation in the game direction and design. When it comes to innovation, I feel like Tears of the Kingdom's got that on lock. I'd love it if someone could put something in Discord. Put like Tom's picks in the Discord. Make a chart, and then we can see whether I'm right once the Game Awards come out. So yeah, game direction for innovation. Game direction design, again, it looks fantastic and it has a specific art style. Again, I think Baldur's Gate has a solid chance here, but I think Tears of the King. Creative vision and innovation in game direction. Could be Baldur's. Again, I think these two are going to tie a lot. Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom. Baldur's Gate makes sense from a game direction standpoint, if you think about it. Like, D&D mechanics. The design is like hyper realistic, but also incredibly magical and fantastical. And it's been talked about for so long. Whereas Tears of the Kingdom, actually, I feel like flew by rather quickly. It just kind of disappeared after a while, so I don't know. So I think Game of the Year, I think, is probably going to be Tears of the Kingdom. best game direction. I'm actually going to go out and limb and say it's also going to be Tears of the Kingdom, I think. Like, I'm sitting here going, oh, what if I get it wrong? I'm like, what? It doesn't matter if I get it wrong. It's all part of the fun. So Tears of the Kingdom for Game of the Year. I think Tears of the Kingdom is also going to be best game direction. Best narrative. So now we have a couple of different games. We have Final Fantasy 16 and we have Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I've not heard much about this. I know obviously Cyberpunk 2077 got a lot of fixes this year and the anime really helped sell it, which is great. Guess what hot beverage I currently have for tea with Tom? Oh, GT Live, you do us proud. But I've not heard a lot of people talk about this game in terms of its story. Again, Baldur's Gate's there. I have a soft spot for Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man has been telling a fantastic story. I think Spider-Man's story is really good. But I think given the massive world, I could see Baldur's Gate 3 walking away with this. I don't know. The problem is I don't know enough about Alan Wake. But the fact that you can like have so many different stories in Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like that's got to be the choice, right? Did Cyberpunk sort itself out? It did. It eventually got sorted. Nighthair, hello. Good to have you, friend. Thanks so much for tuning in. And Bon, I've seen you too make your appearance. But yeah, I just don't know enough about Alan Wake or Final Fantasy 16, to be honest. But I think Baldur's Gate might walk away with this. Bon, it doesn't matter if you're thirsty or not. You hydrate anyway. It's the importance. You gotta hydrate. Best art direction. Ooh. Ooh. Artistic design and animation. So, like, here, you see some very different games. Because you've got Alan Wake, which is hyper-real. And then you've got things like Hi-Fi Rush. So it was Bethesda. So it's a relatively big company. Hello, Tom, I am the one student who shows up for class once a year. Oh, Bon, well, we're happy to have you once a year regardless. Do I think Alan Wake is going to win art direction? No. I think given the rest of the nominees, you think 3 out of 5 are all these very cartoony designs, or like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, less so, but it's still got like a Nintendo polish to it, right? I'd love Hi-Fi Rush to win because that game is gorgeous. And it's very unique. I could see it going to Mario. Like Mario feel again, it's a new art direction. I guess they've done a real good job with the animation and stuff. So I could see Mario going for it. Really want to play the minute ago. Life of P. Yeah, that one kind of flew under the radar for me. Chaotic Fiction, hello. But yeah, I would love it to be Hi-Fi Rush. I think it's probably more likely to be Mario. That would be my guess. And bear in mind, I've not like really looked at previous years. It's soul-based, so it makes sense for you, Tom. Yeah, I've not See, my issue with Hi-Fi, while I think it's got a fantastic direction, my fear is it's too small. Hi-Fi Rush was a blip. And while Mario isn't all that high on the list. Like, it didn't make a massive splash. I think that Mario is a well-known entity, and so people will recognize that. I would love Hi-Fi Rush to win, because I think the art style is incredible. Let's have a look at something a minute. Let's go for Hi-Fi Rush Metacritic. So an 87. 87 from the critics. However, if we search for... Let's search for Mario Wonder. See? 92. And again, remember who is picking the winners here. It is primarily the critics. Doesn't always mean the same thing. Doesn't always mean that the highest rated will win. But I do think that Mario Wonder is more, sadly... Bon, yes I did. And my thoughts are reserved for theorist employment terms only. For that one. It looks interesting. I'm intrigued for Chapter 3. But the rest of my thoughts on it are reserved as part of my NDA and non-compete. Personally love the art direction of Zesta, but I've been obsessed with the game for 4 years. Yeah, like I get it with Zelda for sure. But and I'd love it to be Hi-Fi Rush, because I mean, just look at that. Look at this thing. Let me zoom in on this page as well, actually, so we get some better visuals. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Like, look at that. That looks amazing, doesn't it? Looks incredible. I'm just not convinced it will win. And if it does, I'll eat my hat, because I think it deserves it. Absolutely. But my safe bet is going to be the Mario wins this one. Why mustache? Well, it's just general facial growth. This is just what happens when I don't shave. It's not that I'm actively growing a mustache. You aren't wearing a hat, but I have hats, Akira. I have them, and they can be consumed. So here we go. So this is the best score and music. See, this is where I go Hi-Fi Rush really should win. Hi-Fi Rush has got a fantastic soundtrack. Again, the fact is, we're picking the top 5 games out of how many games they've released this year. This year has been stacked in terms of games. It's been a fantastic year for gaming. Really, really has. Will a food theory come out of it? We should probably do a food theory on Can You Eat Your Hat? That's actually not a bad idea. I should pitch that to Santi. It's consuming your hat. It becomes a food theory. If you're consuming it, it becomes a food theory. It's like the edible underwear episode. It was about wearing it, not about consuming it, and therefore it was a style theory. Well, it is November, so you could be growing a mustache. I could be. I could be. I am not. It is just a laziness. Poor Santi's going to have to tell Matt to eat a hat. I don't think Matt would be that confused by it. I just think Santi is going to have to figure out how to cook it. I mean, the fact is we did do an episode on like edible clothing. So it might be a short. I don't know. But I'd be interested to see. So, best score. I really want to put my vote here behind Hi-Fi Rush. I think the soundtrack for Hi-Fi Rush is just fantastic. Really is good. The others have got also fantastic. Like Baldur's Gate's got a great soundtrack. But I just think Hi-Fi Rush is such a different soundtrack compared to the other ones. Have got like a lot of orchestral, which is all really high quality stuff, don't get me wrong, but I really like that Hi-Fi Rush just feels different. So I think Hi-Fi Rush will be my vote for music. Some of this is me trying to be smart, and some of this is me going, I just like this one. Ooh, so there we go. We've now got Dead Space entering the chat for Best Sound Design. See, again, this is a slight bias, I'll admit. But this is where I do, my bias does show, because I do think Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has some incredible design. Like the fact, but again, it's not anything the original Spider-Man didn't do. But I think the different types of tech, the different stuff that happens in that game makes a huge difference. Like the sound, like for your webs and stuff, makes everything feel so real. The fact you've got 2 different sounds for 2 different Spider-Men is really big. I also love the fact that when you have like these conversations and audio things that come out, like podcasts and phone calls, Spider-Man's voice changes tone depending on if he's exerting himself or if he is static. That's really cool, and it like seamlessly goes between. So I appreciate that has a fantastic set of sound design. This is best sound design, or best audio design, I should say. Yeah, the change to get, like, the thing is, the change to gets venomized is fantastic, but that feels more like an actor or like an actor's decision rather than, it's not something that it like switches between within the game. Like the thing about it being exerted or static is that the game automatically switches between the two. Whereas I think with the Venom stuff, while that's cool, that's a good acting decision. Because it's not like it switches between. The sound of the punching is crisp. It is. But I'm aware that things like Dead Space and Alan Wake and Resident Evil are horror games. And audio design in horror games is a big deal. I wonder, who won Best Audio Design Game Awards 2022? Oh, it'd be good if I put one too many zeros. Ragnarok won last year. What about 21? Forza Horizon. Interesting. So they aren't going for like the big winners. What else was nominated for that category? Do we know? Yeah, it was Elden Ring. We knew that. No. Who are the nominees? No, this isn't it, I don't think. Interesting. So God of War. So it wasn't horror based, but I don't know how many horror games were put through. I can't say anything because I only recognize Spider-Man 2 and Resident Evil 4. My Resident Evil series is nostalgia and Spider-Man 6. Yeah. Horror games are known for their sound design. Whether it depends, I guess, on what you decide to vote for, right? Or what you decide to vote on. Are you voting on good sound design because it creates an atmosphere? Or are you voting on it because there's like a lot? Because like Spider-Man is a quantity thing. It's all very good, but there's a quantity. There's a lot of stuff going on to make it feel authentic. Whereas like Dead Space, Alan Wake, Resident Evil are all, the sound design is all about setting the scene. I'm not sure I'd go Resident Evil. Or Alan Wake, for that matter. Dead Space, possibly, because, again, I think space stuff is always fascinating to do sound design for. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, Gran Turismo, Forbidden West were audio nominees. That's fascinating. That's a weird list. And yeah, you can see no horror games that year. Yeah, I think my vote would probably go for Dead Space. As much as I love Spider-Man, I think Dead Space is probably the one that's most likely. But yeah, no horror games last year, which is fascinating because now we're getting all the horror games pop up. So yeah. Year of horror. It really is. It has been the year of horror. It's been the year of mainstream horror and the year of indie horror. We've had Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Alan Wake 2. We've obviously had we got one FNAF. We got Ruin. We're now getting Help Wanted 2, Poppy Chapter 3. We're getting Garden of Banban 6, guys. Like, let's get hyped for Garden of Banban 6. We've also had Dreadweight Demo, which was the Cooking Companion sequel. We've had, we had a number of stuff. There was a season in the summer where suddenly everything on Game Theory was just... Iron Lung was last year, I'm pretty certain. But yeah, there was a point where, like, just everything on Game Theory was, like, the indie horror stuff that was coming out. I forget what it was. Let me have a look. Let's go have a look at where that was. It's been 2. Shh, Matt, be quiet. So yeah, oh yeah, we had Rainbow Friends. We had Generation Lost came out. Welcome Home was a big deal as well. My Friendly Neighborhood. Yeah, it was, and Banban as well, and Amanda the Adventurer. It's been a big year for indie horror. It's been a big year for indie horror. Doors was a big thing earlier this year as well. Yeah. And Bendy. We had Bendy at like the end of last year as well. So it's been, yeah, it's been a big year. So yeah, I think Dead Space for this one. Best performance. Oh, here we go. See, this is a fun category for me. Voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture. And performance capture is becoming a much bigger deal these days. Wow. So yeah, we got another 6 here. So we got Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16. Cameron Monaghan for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Idris Elba in Cyberpunk. Milani Liebert. She's the main person in Alan Wake 2. That makes sense. Neil Newbern, Baldur's Gate 3. And Jerry Lowenthal for Spider-Man 2. See, again, he makes sense to me because he has to do the Venom transformation and stuff. So that does make sense. But I've heard very good things about Ben Starr. I've heard some amazing things about Ben Starr. I love that, like, Idris Elba is just his headshot. Hers is just a headshot. The, like, 4 of them are just headshots. He's then just, like, on his phone. That's just a selfie he took out and about. And Cameron is like, what? Did you guys know I was in Star Wars?